Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
Hello and good afternoon. I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you in the JB Weather Center this afternoon, tracking some pretty impactful weather moving through the region. Before we get too underway, though, if you can hear me, please let me know. I'm sure if you all can't, you all will let me know that as well. But while we wait for my confirmation, just to set the stage here, we go from having very little severe weather yesterday, very little action across the region, to definitely an uptick of an activity as we've headed into today, where we now have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, even a few flash flood warnings occurring across the area. And I see that a few of you can hear me, which is awesome. Thank you so much for those comments. So let's go ahead and kind of dive right on into this. What we've been tracking here over the last, it's about a boom that. What we've been tracking here over about the last 2 or 3 hours is kind of almost like a developing line, but much more of a scattering of thunderstorms developing. This started out west of I-95 right around lunchtime, and these storms have slowly propagated their way eastward, and they're starting to move through the area, packing quite a punch. What I want to do is kind of work from north to south, and I first want to start with this cell up here in portions of Anne Arundel County. If you're in the Annapolis area, get ready. This storm has been pounding areas such as Bowie, Crofton, and Odenton. Over the last half hour to 45 minutes, we do have a flash flood warning in effect where this storm has already moved on through. The National Weather Service here is placing the severe thunderstorm warning for central Anne Arundel County until 4:45. At 3:40, a severe thunderstorm was located near Crofton, moving east at about 15 miles per hour. Additional severe thunderstorms are expected to rapidly develop in this area of central Anne Arundel County. We're talking 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, we're talking quarter-size hail, and we've even seen upwards of 2, 3, even 4 inches of rain fall from this storm in the Odenton area, which is why, if you look closely enough, there's a little green polygon here for Crofton and Odenton. That's that flash flood warning. We'll get back to this storm here in just a second. What just came through the wire here not too long ago would be a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for parts of Charles County. This goes until 4:30. It's this orange polygon here. At 3:41, a severe thunderstorm was located over La Plata, moving east very slowly. Note this, at just 10 miles per hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail are going to be possible with this storm, along with frequent lightning and heavy rain. Damaging winds from this storm will cause some trees and large branches to fall. This could injure those outdoors, as well as cause damage to homes and vehicles. Roadways may become blocked by downed trees. Localized power outages are going to be possible with this storm, and unsecured light objects may become projectiles. Locations impacted by this storm include but are not limited to Waldorf, La Plata, St. Charles, Hughesville, Bryantown, Pomfret, Port Tobacco Village, Northwood, Dennisville, Port Tobacco, and White Plains. You're going to want to be moving indoors and away from windows if you are in the path of this storm. Let's go ahead and give this a storm track. I actually had to adjust the storm track ability here so it can go out for 2 hours to even get a cone that is going to be big enough to get a couple of town names in here. This will be moving through the Hughesville area in about the next half hour to 45 minutes, slowly then crossing over the Patuxent River into parts of Calvert County if we can hold together as we head into the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour. Zooming out, and let's go ahead and get that box off there, and just putting radar in motion. Even if we do this over the last, let's say, 3 hours, you can see how these storms have just rapidly developed. Taking this kind of back here, these storms started along I-95 just after 2 o'clock, and they are moving eastward and producing a lot of active weather across parts of the area. And we have additional storms and cells that have developed and are continuing to move through the area that may not be necessarily severe warned, but are producing impacts. We saw one nasty little storm kind of move through central parts of Calvert County. We've seen cells moving through parts of St. Mary's County. Nasty weather on up I-97 into the Baltimore area, going up I-95 towards Philadelphia. So it just, by and large, is not a good time to be traveling across parts of the region this afternoon and evening. Taking a look here at some of the estimated rainfall amounts from these storms. Let's go ahead and get this loaded up here. And I'm actually briefly just going to be turning off these warnings so we can see. This green polygon, though, here, where you see this bullseye, this represents where we've seen some heavy rain in this Crofton and Odenton area that I was mentioning before. This red area is indicating rainfall totals up over 3 inches, getting near 4 inches in parts of Odenton. Let me give you some details here on this flash flood warning that's in effect for West Central Anne Arundel County. This goes until 6:30 tonight, so for about the next, what we call that, about 2.5 hours or so. At 3:28, Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 1 to 2.5 to 3 inches of rain has already fallen in this area. Additional amounts of 1/2 inch to 2 inches are going to be possible in this warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Areas that are going to experience this immediate flash flood threat are going to be Bowie, Severn, Crofton, Severna Park, Odenton, Fort Meade, Millersville, and Gambrels. And you do want to take note of that. And just as we zoom out, by and large, you can see our little cell down here in La Plata is starting to put down some nice rain totals. We can see that areas shaded in blue denote at least 1 inch of rain estimated by radar. And La Plata, latest radar scan, we're seeing that estimate upwards of 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Not approaching flash flood levels just yet, but if we continue to see thunderstorms move over the same areas, that definitely could cause some issues for our region. Let's go ahead and take you back on over to traditional radar mode here. Let's get these warnings back on. Yesterday, we note that we had a pretty significant severe weather threat across the region. We were in that level 3 enhanced risk. And that is no longer, actually, sorry, I just lost my train of thought because I believe we now have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning in until 4:30. This is going to be for northern Anne Arundel County, so kind of just outside of our coverage zone here. Let me go ahead and make sure that we're looking good on socials with that. But let's go ahead and zoom in, though. Anne Arundel County really kind of has been the bullseye for storms this afternoon. I mean, we're seeing them develop right across the region. Charles County, you're also seeing it. Anne Arundel County, though, here for the last hour and a half has kind of seen some of the worst weather, though. And we can see this little storm here. I do want to take a quick check here on velocity, make sure these storms are behaving themselves and not going not having any rotation, and no real rotation with these storms, which is always going to be reaffirming. But we do note that we have some pretty gusty winds with this storm, and I wouldn't be surprised down here with these storms in Charles County, PG County, for them to start producing some hail. I want to see if we can't just get potential hail tracks here on these storms. We'll see if this wants to cooperate with us. That's kind of a toss-up right now. That does not really want to work, which is fine. We can work with that. Some of our other programs, though, not necessarily hinting at too much hail in this area. It is something to note, though, that these storms will have the potential to produce upwards of P to quarter-size hail, especially if we start to see them get strong enough, right? If we start to see them really feed off the humidity in the air, we can get those strong updrafts, which can really help to cycle through some hail that can fall. Some people try to mistake, or they do end up mistaking hail for sleet or something like that. Not exactly, they're a little bit different. But yeah, that's kind of the lay of the land right now. I would expect the potential, let's bring this back down to just about an hour loop here. I would expect the threat of these showers and downpours to persist across the area for the next 3 to 4 hours, right? These are slowly here moving to the east, but the key word there is slowly. These are not fast-moving storms by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a little bit, not really surprised, but kind of observing how we're seeing these storms, when they get going, they really ramp up quickly. So any storms that do develop that aren't on radar right now, they're going to really ramp up quickly, and we can see that be the case. If we look at these cells down here across the northern neck, just this little dude of Montrose, if we kind of bring this back, you can see how it goes from just over here, a little sprinkle very quickly, to a pretty healthy storm that's going to be crossing the Potomac River into tall timbers here rather soon. So you're going to want to stay weather aware. Will everyone see rain? Will everyone see storms today? Not likely. Those that do, though, will see storms, I think. Not necessarily high-end severe storms, but we're talking downpours, maybe some gusty winds, maybe some hail, but definitely some lightning as we slowly get this cold front to push through the region. Tomorrow's going to be setting up as a pretty nice day across the region. We just have to get to that point. I do see a couple comments. Yeah, the Annapolis area, you're good. I mean, this has already moved in, and this is a storm that really did kind of develop rather quickly. I want to see if I can't take this back just a little bit further. You can see it started out quite literally as one of those sprinkles. Take a look at this cell between Bowie and Odenton, and very quickly grew, and look at that, put down all that rain, now producing hail, gusty winds, and frequent lightning. And there is indeed a chance of rain for this weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday have 60% chances of rain, but I do think we get the rain chances out of here in time for the 4th. The 4th is going to be looking rather warm and humid, temperatures getting up over 90. But I don't think, as things stand right now, that a storm chance is going to be in the cards. So I would, if I had to pick, if I wanted storms for the 4th or for the weekend of the 4th, I would pick the weekend of the 4th as opposed to, causing issues for widespread firework demonstrations. Now, I do see some people wanting to know about their backyard. What about St. Mary's County? What about Lusby? The best part for you, I think it's in the link in this video. If it's not, just head over to jbweather.net/radar. Interactive radar and futurecast. Let me show that to you because I don't think a lot of people know that. And they kind of just expect almost for information to be fed to them, and unfortunately that's not something that I try to partake in, because I answer one question, it turns into 1.5 million. Let me go ahead and get that ticker out of here. So you head over to jbweather.net, you see our forecast post, head on over to radar, scroll down, and you get this nice little web widget here, and it gives you plenty, right? So it can show you where radar is right now, the active warnings we have in effect, and like if you just come on over here, high-res radar, take a look at that, and you can really zoom into your location. And what's nice is that you can pick like the future radar over the next hour, right? Like get that away. Press play, and it'll simulate where radar thinks that these storms are potentially going to be going, both over a 1 hour and a 48-hour time increment. So I would really suggest heading on over there. A lot of people are like, JB Weather, when are you going to get an app? But little do they know that there's already a website that services as an app. They can access, right? And it's customizable. You can get what you need when you need it, and it's always up there. But again, this is the lay of the land right now. Stay weather aware. I'll be back here for you if any new developments with these storms. Do be aware, though, for much of our region over the next 2, 3, 4 hours, that these thunderstorms are going to be pushing through. They could be severe, but I would definitely count if you see them, seeing downpours, gusty winds, and the potential for some lightning. Stay weather aware, stay safe, and I'll be here in the Weather Center to continue to keep you updated. In the meantime, I'm Forecaster John Bordash. Have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.